Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and happy Friday. My name is Amy Wyatt. I'm the Nonprofit Resource Specialist for Bremer Bank. Bremer Bank is 92% owned by the Otto Bremer Foundation and a very proud funder of this project. And on behalf of our company, we just want to recognize the collaborative effort in making a difference. Our mission statement at both Bremer Bank and the Otto Bremer Foundation is to build healthy communities, and that is what is happening right here, right now. Sincere congratulations to all the partners on this on behalf of the Otto Bremer Foundation.
Good afternoon, Molly Zins with the University of Minnesota Central Sustainable Development Partnership. I didn't hear any laughter. Oh, there. You usually get a couple laughs with that title. Sustainable agriculture is one of the founding principles of the regional partnerships. And when the University of Minnesota faculty and farmers that came together back in the late 90s discussed the development of the regional partnerships, it was to do so in an effort to strive towards sustainable agriculture with the use of community university partnerships. And indeed, this is also closely related to or deeply rooted in our mission as a land-grant institution. Of course, here in our region, the Central Partnership has had the great fortune of working with so many terrific partners, many of whom are here today on this effort. And we really believe that the foundation of collaboration that's been built around local foods movement in our region is a big part of the success that we see. And I can just use my outside voice to keep moving. One example of this that many of you are familiar with is the Resilient Region Plan. And of course, most of you probably know that this planning process involved dozens of organizations, municipalities, businesses, and literally hundreds of citizens that came together to discuss the creation of a sustainable community and what the folks in the community wanted to create together. It's no surprise that from that plan, today we see some of those priority recommendations and priority theme areas directly impacting the Sprout Food Hub activity and the on-the-ground work of Sprout Food Hub today. Again, one example of that is something that we heard about earlier from Jason and Arlene, and the incorporation of the solar thermal high tunnels, because of course Sprout is not going to stop with just local foods, but takes it a step further towards truly sustainable communities and incorporating those two industries and interdisciplinary efforts to make sure that we're moving towards long-term systemic change. Sprout is indeed a collaborative effort, it's community-led, and it is a change agent. And on behalf of the Central Partnership Board of Directors, we'd like to say that we're honored to be able to work with Sprout and to help play a part in supporting Sprout.
I've got an outside voice, so I don't need this. So I'm Greg Swayzer. I work with the statewide regional sustainable development partnership. So I work on local food projects with each of the 5 outside regional partnerships. 10 years ago, the local food and sustainable agriculture movement just started really taking off, and it started getting really big. And really quickly, we learned that we had a problem. If you wanted to sell food outside of the farmer's market or maybe in your little farm stand, there was no infrastructure set up to help you do that. There was nowhere to take your tomatoes and nowhere to take your cucumbers other than where you had. You couldn't get them into the school. They need bushels and bushels and bushels. So we knew for a very long time that this food hub system was going to be necessary, but it took a really long time, and we still aren't there yet to figure out how to make it happen because the margins are micro thin at every level of the value chain. A few years ago, the USDA started doing some research and started helping people figure these things out. And some food hubs, some very prominent food hubs, have been popping up all over the country, but they all serve metro areas because that's where a lot of the money is. Each one of the 5 regional partnerships, which are all outstate, have all determined that this aggregation and distribution system is a priority area to work on. And this Sprout project here is the first non-metro serving food hub, maybe the second, but the first non-metro serving food hub that has gotten this far in all of Minnesota. And projects are outside of the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and a lot of these projects are in the idea phase or the planning phase, or actually have brick and mortar on the ground, and we have them here in Brainerd, Long Prairie, Bemidji, Moorhead, Duluth, Marshall, Milan, Wilmer, Spirit Lake, Iowa, Red Wing, Elgin, Lanesboro, Rochester, Mankato, and perhaps even places like Starbuck. I don't know, these things are really starting to take off, and what we have here is an example of how this gets done, and a very great resource to help people figure out how this work gets done, because Sprout's gonna work, but it hasn't worked yet. But with all these with this extra gigantic web of food hubs out there in rural Minnesota, this will all work, and we'll all figure it all out together.
I'm Colleen Lighthammer. I'm with USDA Rural Development, and today is a celebration. Look at this. The sun's out, everything's growing. It is a great day, and we're so proud that we could be a small piece of this. It just shows how it takes, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a resilient region to do Sprout and all the wonderful things you're doing here. It is just, I had the opportunity this week to spend a couple days with Cheryl and Arlene in DC. And you might not know this, so I'm going to talk about it. Arlene and Cheryl came out to DC for an innovations conference. They chose the United States government, the World Council, which Secretary Bill Sack chairs. They chose about 50 people from across this nation who are doing just fabulous, innovative things, and asked them to come out and be part of the conference. Now, the interesting piece is Cheryl spoke at the White House about the resilient region, and Sprout and the Food Hub with Cheryl, with Arlene. Arlene gave presentations and breakout sessions as to how this was working here, what they did, how it came to come, and everybody talked to me afterwards about how impressed they were with the great things that are going on with the Food Hub and with the resilient regions. These are the things that are making a difference across the country. And with Cheryl and Arlene there, other people are learning about it, learning about what you've done, how you've done it, what things you wouldn't do again, and what really has worked. They are such great ambassadors for not only Minnesota, but this region in particular. I can't tell you enough how proud I am to be able to come up here and see the great things you're doing, the partnerships, the relationships that you have built in order to make things happen. Nobody else is this far along. Nobody's doing it like you are. Will it work like this everywhere? Probably not. Different people, different partnerships, different times. But you deserve a huge, huge amount of congratulations. And the great thing about what's going on here, it's not going to stop. I mean, the solar thermal hoop houses. I never knew that propane, gave that artificial color to those truck-ripened tomatoes that we sometimes get in the winter. So great things are happening, great experiments, and you are the people that are making it happen. And it only happens with great champions, and you've got those across this room. And I got to spend a couple days with two of the best, Arlene and Cheryl, to talk about how we can do things differently, how we can do things better, how together we can make a difference in our home, our town, our community, our region, our state, and our nation. You are just great models for everyone across this nation. So thank you for what you're doing. We're glad that USDA Rural Development, and Mike Munson's in the back with the Twins cap on, he and his staff work closely with Cheryl and everyone else, and so it's just a great day, and I just thank you so much for allowing us to share today with you, and congratulations, Arlene.